Can the human soul be transplanted? We're talking about what happens when people get transplants. This strange possibility arose from the inexplicable case of Sonny Graham, an apparently happily married 69-year-old living in the state of Georgia. He shot himself without warning, having never previously shown any sign of sadness or depression. His friends described the event as an act of passion but without cause. The case would remain just an isolated case of tragedy if it weren't for the fact that Sonny had received a heart transplant from a man who had also shot himself under unusual circumstances. Things are made even stranger by the fact that shortly after the transplant, Sonny met the donor's wife and instantly fell in love with her. When I first met her, Sonny told the local newspaper, I just stared at her. I felt like I'd known her for years. I couldn't take my eyes off her. He spoke of a deep and intense love for her. It was instant and full of passion. The kind of love that overflows with passion and makes you lose control of your mind and abandon all logic, and very soon they got married. The tragedy of Sonny Graham will go down in history without a doubt as a terrible coincidence. After all, there is no suggestion that the memories or even the very character of the donor could be transplanted together with the heart. Virtually any donor or scientist would say that the heart is nothing more than a pump. The throne of the mind, our consciousness, or our very soul, if such a thing exists, is located in the brain. The heart's only control in our mind is whether it sends blood to our brain. Ever since William Harvey unraveled the mysteries of the heart and blood circulation centuries ago, the above fact has been unquestionably true, or at least almost without a doubt. Some bold scientists claim that our memories and character are encoded not only within our brain neurons, but throughout our entire body. Consciousness, they claim, is created by every living cell in the body acting in concert with one another. They argue that our hearts, livers, and every organ in the body store our memories, guide our emotions, and imbue us with our special character. The whole body is the throne of the soul, and not just the brain. And if any of these organs would be transplanted into another person, part of the memories, may be even elements of the soul, might be transplanted along with it. There are currently more than 70 documented cases similar to Sonny's, where patients were given organs received with them elements of the organ donor's personality. Professor Gary Schwartz and his colleagues at the University of Arizona have documented numerous seemingly inexplicable experiences that resemble Sonny's, and each such case is a direct challenge to the medical establishment. In a famous case uncovered by Professor Schwartz's team, an 18-year-old boy who wrote poems, played music, and composed songs was killed in a car accident. A year after his death, his parents found a tape of a song he had written called Danny, My Heart Is Yours. In the lyrics of the song, the boy said that he felt death fatally approaching him and that it was his destiny to give his heart away. After his death, his heart was transplanted into an 18-year-old girl named Danielle. Remember, this is before he died. So Danny, he probably foresaw that his heart would be going into a girl his age, called Danielle, which he called Danny. And the title of his song was Danny, My Heart Is Yours. This is really uncanny. When the parents met Danielle, they played her some of the music their son had written, and she, even though she had never heard the song before in her life, knew the words and could fill in the lyrics. Professor Schwartz also investigated the case of a 29-year-old lesbian fast food addict who took the heart of a 19-year-old vegetarian who was described as a nymphomaniac. After the transplant, she told her friends that she now hated meat and that she no longer found women attractive. Sometime after the transplant, she married a man. These transplant-related events are not limited to hearts, and the kidneys seem to bear some of the characteristics of the people who originally had them. Take the case of Linda Gammons from Weston, Lincolnshire, who donated one of her kidneys to her husband, Ian. Since the operation, Ian believes he has picked up some clues from his wife's personality. She's developed a love for making sweets, shopping, cleaning, and gardening. Before the transplant, she detested every kind of household work. And he also adopted a dog, although before the operation he had a weakness for cats, while his wife preferred dogs. It's easy to dismiss such cases as aerologies, but the Chinese authorities take them seriously. They recently became interested in Professor Schwartz's ideas and started a program to screen transplant patients. Given that many donated organs in China come from executed political prisoners, a cynic might claim that they are concerned about some epidemic of political rebellion that might spread through donated organs. However, the traditions of Chinese before communism, but even today, include beliefs related to the fact that the soul and consciousness are also connected to the biological state of man. Many scientists will of course claim that tens of thousands of organs have been transplanted throughout the world, and so some strange cases like the ones reported are to be expected. It's also not surprising that after a major and important operation for a person's life, such as heart transplant, the patient is likely to change some aspects of his character. Who could be unaffected when he's looked upon death with his own eyes? The powerful drugs needed to do the transplant procedures can also cause significant changes in behavior. If we put all this together, it's hardly surprising that some patients leave the hospital with a completely changed outlook on life. What is surprising about these cases, however, is not that some patients become different after the operation, but that the changes are so specific. Professor Schwartz says it's a targeted personality change. Whether this was the result of drugs, stress, or just coincidence, none of these elements could account for the specific patterns of information transfer matching those of the donor. If Professor Schwartz and his like-minded people are right, one of the building blocks of modern biology would be destroyed. But then again, modern biology has a little guilty secret. It has so far no viable theory to explain how we store memories and how consciousness is formed. In fact, science has not yet explained what exactly consciousness is, where it comes from, and where in the body it is located. And thus perhaps the poets and romantics of various ages are not so wrong when they refer to the heart as the seat of man's emotions, and if we can transplant hearts, maybe it's not so rash to assume that part of the spirit goes with that. Who knows, maybe one day doctors will be able to offer a character transplant as well. This is from Esoterica. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.